welcome to my YouTube channel. If you are new here, my name is Priscilla. As you guys read the title, I will be telling my story and how I almost did not pass my nail tech state board. Oh my gosh. So as many of you guys know, I am a licensed nail tech. Yes, I almost didn't pass my state board, and this is a story that I'm going to be telling you guys today. Okay, so I graduated May 15th from my nail school, local nail school, and I was so excited to take my state board. I was ready the night before. I prepared like I was told. So we have to use odorless monomer that doesn't smell, just because where we test is in office, like building offices. So I packaged my odorless monomer in a baggie so that nothing would happen to it, or it wouldn't spill in any of the other items. And so we get to our appointment, and I'm like super nervous. I know there's going to be 3 other girls in the room with me, and then 2 teachers that are going to be watching us. I get into the room. There's cameras from every angle, which made me nervous. I don't know why. I mean, it's just under pressure, you get nervous. So I think the first one was how to apply a plastic tip onto the natural nail. Okay, boom. I did it, whipped it out really good, fast, easy. You have like 2 minutes or a certain amount of time to put your stuff out, because they'll tell you the topic, like the first topic. You have like about a minute or something to take that out and put it on the desk. And so I did. I was ready. I was really confident, you know. Well, I did the tip on the nail, blended it in, everything, you know, finished that one good. We went to the next section, which was acrylic on a natural nail. Before we start the acrylic on the natural nail, the instructors are checking to make sure that our monomer is odorless, just because maybe some people have snuck in non-odorless monomer, and well, it makes the whole room stink, and they don't like that. It's not allowed. So they're going around checking up all of our monomers, and like, well, mine was in a single baggie because I didn't want it to spill on anything else. She looks at it and does not see a manufacturer label. She doesn't see a manufacturer label, and that has to be on there. And so she looks at it, she's like, you can't use this. And I'm like, looking at her, this was my face. I was like, that was my face. I was like, what do you mean I can't use it? I was red. I was like, I could feel myself getting like red, because there were 3 other girls in with me, and they were all from the same school, which was really good. But she told me I could not use my monomer, and I was like, everything that was going through my head at that time was like, what am I supposed to use? Like, what am I supposed to use if I can't use my monomer? So I start freaking out, and I'm like, what the heck? Okay, so then she goes to the girl next to me. Let's call her Jessica. Let's call her Jessica. She goes to Jessica right next to me, and she's like looking at her monomer. And she realizes she didn't have the manufacturer label either. So the instructor's like this. Same thing. You can't use that. And you can only like look at your table, just because they don't want you cheating, and that's why there's a bunch of cameras. So I couldn't even look at her like, be like, oh my god, I'm sorry, because she had just heard that I couldn't use mine either. And so I was just like, oh my god. So then I started to play with my ring, and I was like, oh my god, what's gonna happen? Like, we already failed. That was my thought. I was like, I can't go forward with this, because the monomer is the main part. So then, you know, I kind of calmed down, because I'm like, okay, she just said she couldn't use her monomer, so what's gonna happen? She goes to the girl in front of me, or like across from me. Let's put her name, this is Jessica, let's put her name Brenda. Okay, so she goes to Brenda, and well, Brenda, she came prepared, and she brought odorless and low odor, and I was just like, dang it, why didn't I do that? Anyways, so she couldn't use her odorless monomer because, again, it was manufactured off, but she was able to use her low odor. So it's not like as strong as the regular monomer, but it's like low odor. And so she kind of felt bad because we weren't able to, me or Jessica weren't able to use her monomer. So I was just like, oh my gosh, what's gonna happen now? Okay, so then the instructor is like, okay, you're good to go. She was able to use her low odor. She goes to the girl in front of me. Oh my god. let's put her name, Jessica, Brenda, let's put her name Brianna. So she goes to Brianna. She goes to Brianna, and well, our instructor from our school, I guess, told her that it was okay to use a label maker and put odorless monomer like around it, just in case that happened. What happened to me, just in case it happened to her. She asked and she was like, oh, can I do a label maker on there that says odorless monomer? Our instructor from our school said yes. Okay, so she felt confident, you know. The instructor goes to Brianna and she's like, you can't use that. That's not the original manufacturer label. Oh my god. That I felt for her. And so for her to be like, she was like, Brianna was like, they told me, my instructor told me I could do that. And she's like, and the instructor's like, by the rules and regulations, your instructor knows that you're not allowed to do that. Oh my gosh. So we're all freaking out and Brianna goes, so what? Should we just leave or should we keep going with the test if we can't even use our monomer? To make acrylic nails, it's monomer and powder. So without one of those, there's no acrylic. And those 3 topics that we had to do was acrylic on natural nail, acrylic on tip, and acrylic with form. How the heck are we supposed to do that? How? It's not possible. So she was like, so should we just leave or do we continue? And so the instructor's like, well, I can't tell you what to do. I can't tell you to leave or to stay. Like, I can't tell you any instructions. And so we're freaking out and I could feel my face getting so red and all I felt was tears. I had tears going down my face because I'm like thinking in my head, I already failed. I give up, you know, like I'm not gonna pass. And keep in mind that the testing site where we were at is like an hour away from my house. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to call into work and find another date to schedule. So I'm like, I'm freaking out, I'm crying, I'm like, so much stuff is going through my head right now, you know? So we stayed. I stayed, they stayed. We just went through it. And so I remember not even being able to make acrylic. So let's say I have my brush and I have the little dapping dish. So this is literally what I was doing because I was so confused and upset and with the school and with me and, you know, 100 like mixed emotions of what was happening in that moment. So this is literally what I was doing. Dipping it in this, no powder, no liquid, nothing. And then just dipping it in there, and that was literally what would come out. Like nothing would stick to the brush. And so of course I was freaking out. Like nothing was sticking to the brush, but I still did it. Like I still acted like I was dipping it, acted like I was putting in the powder and then putting it on the natural nail. Nothing stuck to the nails. Nothing. Obviously because there was no liquid, but that's all we could do. And then in that moment, like I was like, you know what? Because we had nail polish remover, which is acetone, and alcohol. I don't know how this thought came into my head, but I was like, you know what? Acetone smells just as strong as monomer. Boom. And so that's what I thought. So in the little dapping dish, I put acetone, and I was just like, you know what? I was like, this is how I'm gonna do it, just to turn something in, because even if it's like bumpy or whatever, it's okay. So acetone, using it as monomer, it was difficult because you have to be fast, and because I was just barely in school and still learning, you know, growing in the nail industry, I wasn't as fast as how I wanted to be. So I was just like, what the heck? So I tried to be as fast as I could, you know. I placed the acetone and then the powder, and I would push it with the bed of the brush. With regular acrylic, you can actually move it and stuff and take off. No, with acetone it was so much harder because it dried so much faster, and I would just act like I was filing, buffing it, and turn it into the instructor. I know they looked horrible. They were horrible. Oh my gosh, I was so upset with myself just because of how bad they looked, but I couldn't do anything about it. So I used acetone in all three, and the acrylic on the natural nail, acrylic on the tip, and acrylic on the form. I used acetone instead of monomer. So we finished all the rounds, we finished all the testing, all the topics, and they can't tell us our score while we're in the room. They let us go to our car and drop off our bags in there, and like all of our equipment and stuff that we had in the car while they're printing out our test results. Well, all four of us got to the end and we were like, oh my gosh, like we're so mad at the school, and we're so mad because they told Brianna that she can put the label maker on the odorless monomer and they didn't let her. We're upset, we're mad. I know I failed because there was nothing on the nail. And if there was something on the nail, like it was bumpy and everything. So I'm like, you know what, I failed. I'm ready to like just give me my failed results. So we come back in from outside and we're crying. She sees that like our eyes are watery and red and we're upset, we're like down and everything. But so like a rule that they have is they're not allowed to give us our test results while we're still in the room. We have to open up, they give us an envelope sealed and everything, and we're not allowed to open it up until we leave the room after they lock it, just in case like somebody's like, why didn't you pass me, like just for their safety, for the instructor's safety. You cannot open up your envelope until you are outside of the door. But she was like, and there's cameras too listening, and watching us, so I think it was okay what she did. But she was like, because she, oh my god, she made me cry even more. And it's just, I'm just so grateful because of everything, how it played out, So she's like, I'm not supposed to be telling you guys your test results because you have to open it outside of the door. She's like, but because you guys stuck through it, you kept going, even though there was an obstacle or even though you didn't have the right proper tools, you guys passed. And once I heard those words, I promise you, I'm a crier. So once I heard those words, I started crying even more. Oh my gosh. So and I guess she saw how like relieved I was. I was like happy, and like just all my stress went away. She hugged me and then we walked out and we were so like excited. We were like, oh my gosh, we passed. I thought we were not gonna pass. So this is what they give it to you guys in. Give it to you in an envelope with your name on it, and then they do actually seal it up. But I'm gonna show you what mine says. Oh my gosh, I was so excited. Okay, so this is what they gave you. I mean, you take the picture before you take the test, but right here it says exam results pass. And I still keep this because that story is just so crazy to me. So crazy how everything worked out. Like if I would have, I mean, I passed, yes, of course, but if I would have walked out because I was like, you know what, like I already failed, like I should just go home right now, go home, be upset, cry, schedule a new date, pay again. If I would have walked out, I probably wouldn't have passed, It's just crazy how God works sometimes. Like everything was planned very good, and I'm just so excited to say that I passed. And that was my story to almost not passing. I mean, if you were in my shoes, how would you feel if, like, just think, like, this is a big test. You're nervous the day before, you're nervous a week before, a month before. And then for you to get there and be like, you can't use this. The main product that you need, you can't use that. What are you gonna do? So again, I just acted fast. I was like, you know what, acetone smells just the same as monomer, just as strong, like the fumes. And so I used acetone. So yes, instead of monomer, odorless monomer, I used acetone. Crazy idea. I don't use that anymore, I promise. But yes, this is the story of how I almost didn't pass my state board, but here we are. I am licensed, fully licensed, and yeah, I'm recording from my first business, and soon I will have something bigger. Yes, I claim it. I claim my business is gonna grow anywhere I go. I'm originally from Texas, but right now, today, March 2nd, I am in the state of Colorado. So yes, anywhere I go, I know my business is going to be booming. I believe it, and I am claiming it that my business will grow. Thanks for watching. Thank you so much.